Greetings, salutations, and all good things in between. What's up, everyone? Matt here. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a good week. Hope you're staying safe. Maybe you're getting out enjoying some of the fall weather. It's fantastic out there. I love this stuff. I'm taking all kinds of photos and everything. It's fantastic, right? All right, so welcome, right? What are we doing today? Well, all right, I finally got around to releasing the code that runs on my MacroPad that I've got over here. So I'm going to go into that. I'm going to go over some YouTube comments. There was a couple of useful things that AppSheet released this week. Go over those. And in the deep dive today, I'm going to spend some time going over the report sample app. And I'm finally going to get that grouped PDF thing to work. I tried it before, ran into problems. I'm going to nail it today. So that's what I've got that I'm going to go over. And of course, if you've got any kind of questions or burning problems that you need solutions for, put them in the comments and I'll get to them at the end of the stream. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I do appreciate it. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, like, do all that good stuff. If you really want to support, I got a thing going right now. I'm trying to upgrade my camera. Maybe you hop on and give me a donation. All right, enough of that stuff. Let's get to it. Sorry about that. I was fighting with it. It wouldn't let me switch to this camera view. All right, so first thing that I want to talk about today is the MacroPad. The thing that I use all the time. I use it for when I'm doing my live stream like this, but the primary use that I have is it has all of the base foundational bits of code and things that I use, a whole bunch of common formulas that I do, and then like formula starting bits. I've put all of those on a MacroPad. Oop, wrong screen. Here we go, this one. I've put all of those onto a MacroPad, and as you can see here, this little GIF that I've got on the screen right now, this is showing you, so the way that I've set this up is obviously there's only so many keys on this MacroPad, right? So you can only fit so much on it. The benefit of things here is that, well, we can have various different pages on our MacroPad. And so that's what I've done here is, if you look all the way at the top on the little screen on side here, right, it tells you what page you're on. And you can see it keeps changing. And then what I've done is the original MacroPad was set up to, so if I go here, so there is a link to all of this information and to the software that you can get your hands on. There's a link in the description. It is also available at multitechvisions.com. Head on over there and you will find it. Anyway, so the MacroPad itself is from Adafruit. It costs $50 for this little kit. And what you get with the kit is there's really not that much that you actually need to do in order to get your MacroPad set up and started. Like, the bulk of everything is actually already done for you on this little board, right? The only thing that you need to do in order to finish this is you take this little board, and these are the other little bits you get. So like, this is a back plate, and these are like the little holders for the individual keys. You get all of the individual keycaps, so you can actually switch these out. You know, if you're a keyboard person, you know there's a whole bunch of different types of mechanical switches, and so these are the red ones, so they're smooth, right? But there you can get really clicky ones if you want. The whole idea behind these the actual key press, I don't even know what you call them, you know, these things are that they just press into this little board here. Here's a better shot. So if you look inside each one of these little things, right, it's got the little connector pins. They're all just right there. And so the whole system is designed for you to be able to just like plug and play. So like if one breaks, you can just pull it out and put a new one in. So putting it together is really easy. All you do is you're mounting this little plate here to all of this stuff, which is just a couple of screws. You push the little rotary knob onto the little thing, right? And then you push those into the things, you put the caps on top of them, and voila. You go through some software, you upload some code on it so that your computer recognizes as what this thing is that you plugged in, you're good to go. Once you get to that point to where you've got it to where it's plugged in and then like the computer recognizes that there's something plugged in. Okay, once you get that base code, which is just right, it's all inside. When you purchase this this MacroPad, there's a tutorial that you get right here, this primary guide. You just go through this. This walks you through everything that you need to know about how to assemble it. It goes over the individuals for like the code that's actually running on the thing. So you can like dig into that if you want. There's the MacroPad library, which I've extensively made a lot of use of. So anyways, all the stuff that you need in order to get everything working is here. Once you get to that point, then you can come back to my blog here and download this software. And then all you really got to do at that point is just copy that onto the drive. And the way that all of this works is if I get one of these open, here we go. So the way that this works is your computer literally just recognizes this, the MacroPad that you plug in, as a drive, right? And then all you got to do is copy all of the stuff that I have inside that download and just copy it over into this drive here. Just replace everything that's there and reset the thing and you're good to go. So what does this thing do? All right, so there's obviously a whole bunch of things going on here. So first off, the rotary knob, if you press the rotary knob, it turns the screen and the keys off. This is nice because it turns it into like a little bit of a, it turns it into a little bit like a standby mode. I ran into the problem. I didn't do this originally, and I left it on. I just left it plugged in with my computer, and some of the words got burned into the screen because it was left on. So this was the solution for that. I was like, oh, I just need a way to turn off the screen. So you press the little button, turns off the screen. The next thing that I did was I changed the turn of the rotary knob. It was originally tied to changing what page we were looking at. So talking about the different macro pages we have. But that requires you to like fine dexterity, go over to the thing, put your fingers on the knob, and then like turn it just once, just one little thing. That's a lot, you know, when I'm trying to do things fast. So I switched this. I switched the page control to some buttons, and then I took the rotary knob and I tied it to my system volume control. So you can see there, when I turn it up, my computer volume turns up. When I turn it turns down. It's super nice. All right, so the top row. So what does the top row do? The top row controls the pages that you're on. And so everything centers around a home screen, right? And then so you've got page right and page left. And the home screen is like in the middle of the list. And so the idea is when you turn the screen on, so when you turn it from standby mode back on like this, you're dropped into the home screen. And that home screen contains the main things that I use most of the time. But then I can go over and I can go left. And so the order of these is literally just like the order of the files inside the macro folder. That's a deep topic I won't go into right now. If you want to know, you can ask questions and I'll dive into it. But the pages that are included in here, right, is there's obviously an off page. So I have the home page. You can see sit here somewhere in the middle. I have a page for logic. I have a page for deep links. I have a page for lists, text, current user stuff, context, and then I have an OBS control page, which really all this OBS control thing does is it's pressing some of the higher function buttons. So like on your keyboard, you've got, you know, like F1 through F12. There's actually like all the way through F27 or something like that. It's a really big number. So the OBS controls, just I'm using some of them higher ones that they're not represented anywhere. they're over there. The basic idea, right, is you've got this home row here at the top. You've got these 7 different buttons. And then what I've done is I've kept a couple of things standard. So the bottom corner button is a clear button that literally removes everything from the field. And the other one is, so like the closing parenthesis is used so often that it literally needed its own dedicated button, and that button needed to be there all the time. So on all of these different pages that I have, except for the OBS control, but all of these ones that are dealing with like these formula bits, the bottom row always contains this little closing parenthesis. I cannot tell you how nice it is to have a closing parenthesis like that away. Like all my hands like sitting on my desk by my keyboard or whatever, and the MacroPad's like right here, and it's that bottom corner key. I can like with my hand, with my pinky. It's so easy. And just think about it. How many times are you closing a parenthesis? Dude, you do it all the time. So having that as this like corner key that's like sitting right next to my keyboard, so it's just one hit away. Oh man, it's really made things a lot faster. Some of these things seem like kind of trivial things, but boy, I tell you what, they really do help. All right, so that's all I'm really going to gotta go over on this. There's obviously a lot more involved here. If you go to the link where you can download this software, all of the details, I continue and I go into all of the different pages that are on here. So like, here's the home screen, and like I explain to you what does each button do. And same thing for the deep links page, for the logic, right? All of them. I've got them all on here. So if you want to know more about that, there's a link in the description. Head on down there. Let me know what you think. All right, let's move on to the next section, shall we? All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about are YouTube comments. I have one in particular that I want to focus on primarily here. So a few weeks ago, I put out a new sample app, couple sample apps about showing how to do many-to-many references using either a join table or brute force using select. So I did a video where, well, it was another stream like this, and I kind of went over in detail on the select one, but I kind of skipped over the join one. And I've had people point out to me that like they were good, they were fine, and then they got to the actions page, and then they were like, yo, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing now, because this is crazy. Like you come in here and it's like, whoa, you got like a delete button, and there's this set temp var and ref stuff and all of these. Whoa, what am I supposed to do? So that's what I'm going to do in this video. For the rest of this little section here, I'm going to go over in detail this join table sample app. So if you want to head to my profile, I realize I didn't put a link for that inside anywhere, so maybe here we go. I will drop it in the chat. If you want to go grab a version of this join table so you can see what it looks like, you can head on over there. I put the link down into the chat. So let's dive in. So the all right, here we go. Many-to-many references, right? It's not a native thing that's supported inside AppSheet, but there are ways that you can do it. The method that I'm showing inside this sample app is using a secondary join table to connect my other two tables together. All right, so let's do a little background and foundation, right? So there's a couple of, the situation that I'm doing here is I have employees and I have projects. And I'm assigning employees to a project, right? And so the actual assignment, the difference between this join table method versus the select method is that The place where all of the joining information is stored, that in this join table sample app, it lives in the join records. So in my mind, when I'm looking for what is the list of an employee's assigned projects, okay, that list is going to be found in the join table records. When you're doing the select one, the list is found inside the employee record itself, right? All right. So now there are similarities between how we're doing all of this, because if I go and I look at an employee record and I go inside here, I have this drop down of assigned employee projects. This is the very same thing that I have inside the select version as well, right? So what's the difference then? Okay, the difference here is that when I'm using the join table, the storing of the joining information is stored in the records, not in this drop down on the employee's record. Or correspondingly, like the project has a list of its assigned employees. That enum list on the project is not the place where we're storing the information. The only reason that this is here is to make it easier for a user to add many things to the list. Because I can just come here and I can be like, this one, this one, this one, this one. If I didn't have it this way, and instead I was going to make the user go through like the join record form, right? So like I'm looking at the user record, and instead of coming in here and doing it this way, like I come here and I hit the add button, right? Okay, well then that means that I'd have to hit the add button, select number 1. I'd have to hit the add button, select number 2. You get what I mean? Like there's a lot of involved in that. There's a lot of click, 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 a lot of wasted time. Or I can give my users the ability to just select the employee and then come in here and be like, that one, this one. And then when I save, make all of the join records automatically and delete anything that doesn't need to be there. So it's all about that enum list field is only there to provide a better interaction method for my users, right? There's nothing to stop the user from going in, just like I did there for those first 2 records, where I could just go into the list of the join records and I can just say, I want to do a new one and just do that. You know, there's nothing to stop me from doing that. But it is faster, right? To just come in here and manage the list inside the record. Okay, so the difficulty, the complexity, I guess, right? With this method comes in the form that like, okay, when I save the form, so I'm looking at an employee and I modified their list of assigned projects. Okay, when I save that form, I need to kick off a loop where I say, all right, for each project that's inside that list, make a corresponding join record, right? And so it'll and make them all. That's how I get all of that done. But then I also need to remove any that have been removed, right? But this is where you get into like things, this is where you can get into the complexity of things. And this is where when you drop into the behavior page and you start looking at all of these actions, that's when you're like, well, there's obviously a lot more going on here. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay. The complexity that you run into when you do things like this. Okay. What happens, you have to think step by step in an order of operation. What happens if I go into an employee's record and I remove one of the assigned projects? Okay. And like say I had this set up to where when I save anything that was removed, it deletes the join record. The problem you run into there is that, so this is a many to many. There's 2 sides to that connection, right? So I've got my employee and the project. The project has this employee that I just removed inside its assigned employees list. That's what the join record is doing. It's telling both sides what it needs to do. So if I just delete the join record, how does the system know I need to update this record? I just deleted the piece of data inside the system that would have told the system, this employee, this project. But I deleted that. Right? Okay, so I could just run a mass update on all of the projects and have a formula where it's saying, cool, set the project's enum list to whatever the list of corresponding records are inside of its list, right? I could do that, but that means that I have to update every project in the system. I don't need to do that. If I only removed one project, then I only need to update that one project record. So that's where all of these things come into play. They help provide the mechanisms into the system that when I'm telling the system I want to delete something, like before I delete it, I need to do some stuff first. So that's what all of these actions and everything are for. So just as a high level here, using a join table, using a join table for many-to-many references like this, the method that I have in this app, it makes use of two advanced AppSheet techniques: hot linking and looping. All right, so the looping is, you probably already kind of guessed on what's going on here, right? So let's focus on the employee side of stuff, right? So when I go into the employee and I'm in their form, we have this list of assigned projects, right? Okay, on the form, I have a form save event, right? And so if we go look at the save employee, so when I save, this is what happens. It kicks off first thing it does is it kicks off this loop to make the employee project loop. Okay, so what is this doing? So if we go look at the employee project loop and we look at the make, because that's the one that actually does the thing, you can see what this is doing is it's saying from the employee table, make a project assignment where the employee is this employee and the project is, what is this? So we go and we look, we're saying index for me the list of the employees' assigned projects minus all of the created project assignments. So, okay, this is where we're getting into this list that's taking things away, right? So I have this in the, if I come down here, I have my list of assigned projects. We'll say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And so the idea with this loop is I need to create one record for everything inside this list. So here's the list of stuff that you need to do. And then I've got this secondary list down here that's telling me what are the projects that I've actually created an assignment for, right? Because this related employee project assignments, that is the list of the assignments for this employee. And inside those are the projects that are in the assignment part. So I derivative that out, and I'll show you that here. So the created, go to employees, and we look at the virtual columns. This created project assignments, it's a list dereference where I'm saying from the related employee project assignments, give me a list of all of the projects. And so this is where I get the list of what's been created, what's done, right? And now remember, we're in a loop right now. We're looping through everything that's inside this employee assigned projects, and we're creating one employee project assignment record for each thing, right? So take this minus this, whatever's left is the thing that we need to do next. Like the first thing in that list is what we need to do. And that's what this is doing. It's taking the assigned projects minus the created projects, and it's indexing out the first thing for that. And that's the project that it's setting. So it does this loop for each project inside the list that you have over there. So if we think about this from the perspective of the first time that we do this, when I first go into the employee's record, that list is empty. Say I add 2 things to the list. When I save, there's 2 things in that list. There are no things inside the assignments yet. So it goes, okay, well, 2 minus 0 is nothing. All right, give me the first thing out of that. So then it makes that first thing. And then it's like, all right, well, we still got something over there. Give me the next thing. And then it's like, okay, no, we're done. So that's the loop that happens first. That is just the one side of things. That's making the things that we need to do. After that, then we move into the backwards side of things, because it's like you add and you have to do the remove. You have to do the remove side of stuff. A lot of people don't do the backwards, and the backwards is where the complication comes in, right? So I can't just delete the record like I was saying earlier. I need to first flag the record that I want to delete, do some stuff, then I can delete it. That's where the hot linking side comes into play. So I'm still here inside my save event for my employee. So over here, I'm looking at my employee form and I'm in, right? And so when I save, this event stack kicks off. First thing it does is it does the loop. The second thing it does is it ref set the employee join records temp bar to remove. Okay, this is the hot linking thing that I was talking about, right? What this does, if I go and I find it, let's see, ref set employee, blah, 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 remove. Here we go, this guy. What this does is it says, all right, from the employee table on the assignment records, select for me, if we come into here, select for me all of the related project employee assignments, give me the IDs, where, zoom in a little bit for you, where this project link is not in the employee assigned projects. Okay, some high level things that I've got going on here, right? So it's obviously an advanced version of a select statement. With a select statement, you can either use a table or you can use any list of references. Sometimes this doesn't work, but it works for, specifically I know it works because I'm doing it here. It works for these related whatever lists, right? Okay, so you just start off a select and then you enter in the related list that you want. The key is that you have the list dereference part has to be the ID column, right? So when you do this, what's happening here is the system is doing a select statement, but it's only doing a select statement on the related records inside the list for the record, right? So I'm looking at project X, or I'm sorry, employee. I'm looking at employee Matt, and I've got a list of records that maybe there's only 5 over there. This select statement only runs over these 5 records. It doesn't go to the whole table that maybe has 10,000 records. It only runs on the 5 that I have here. You can see the benefit of doing something like this, right? Massive improvements in performance. But it's new. It's relatively new, so it does, whether it works all the time, you know, yeah. But when you get it to work, it's magic. So that's what this is doing. It's saying out of the employee project assignment records, right? Give me only the ones where the project is not inside the employee's assigned projects, because the whole idea is we've removed something, right? And so I've removed something from the employee's list, but the join records still, the join record for the thing that I removed is still there, right? So that's where I can do this select statement on the record and say, cool, give me all of these records where the project inside the record is not inside that list, because those are the ones that we need to delete. All right. That's what this does. And it runs this set join temp var remove. Okay. Why am I doing something like this? The whole point of this, right? Two sides to the reference. I've changed one side. I'm now telling the system, you need to update this side. That's what this set temp var remove is doing. I'm hot linking these join records into a slice so that I can process them. So if I go and I show you this set join temp var remove, it's on the join record table. Sorry, let me find it. It's up here. Yeah, here we go. It's on the join records, right? And so it's this set, And I have a column in here that I called temp var. If you're using the standard starting template, this would be form type or automation trigger. Either of those work. This is what form type is for. And we're setting that to remove for the assignment record, the join record, right? So then I go to my slice. You can see I have a single slice inside here where I'm holding those assignment records that need to be removed. Okay. So if I went into the employee record and there was 5 things and I removed all 5 of those join records are now being held inside this slice. Okay. The reason is because then after I get those records inside that slice, let me get back to, here we go. After I get those records inside the slice, I can then say, cool, for all of those join records, update the parent on the other side to remove the employee, because I know that's something that I need to do. So if I go and I look at this ref update join parents here, we're saying out of all of these assignments for the projects, set the physical assignments to the virtual assignments. And so that's going through and it's updating all of the project records where, right, the list of the assigned employees, this sets that to whatever the join records are. Okay. That updates the join records. And then once I get that done, because at that point, what I've done then is I've run an update on the records that need to be updated and removed. Once I've done that, I can then finally delete those things out of the system. Right? A lot going on in order to just delete the records. But that's the idea behind how this works. And this setup works. It's like there's a duplicate on the other side of the reference. So I have employees and I have projects. So everything that I just went over that works on the employee side, the same thing happens on the project side too. If I go to a project and I remove some employees, it does the same thing. It flags the things, puts them over there, does the whatever, and deletes them and gets rid of them, and we're good. So that is the join table method. Yeah, I know it doesn't seem very straightforward, but like the purpose behind all of the linking and everything like that is we just want to update the records that need to be updated. You get me? That's what we're doing. Get your copy of it. It's on my profile. A link in the description after the stream. And yeah, we will move on to the next thing. This week in AppSheet news, there's been a couple of things. So they've got the new My Apps page, right? And when they first released that, the primary event, I don't even know what to say, the primary thing that happened when you clicked on one of those little apps on your My App page, it would open it in the same page. If you're like me, you know that if you hold the control key and click on something, in Chrome, at least, it opens whatever you just clicked on in a new tab. It does that in a whole bunch of other, like Safari and Mozilla. Anyways, but that didn't work. They've just made it to where that does work now. Super nice. Because that's like standard default behavior for me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I want to open that in a new tab. Control. And like it wasn't working. It's like, this sucks. The other thing they've put in a bug fix here. So if you were on a non-mobile device and you were doing a quick edit for a calendar, the pop-up wasn't appearing in some instances. They've now made an update to where that's now showing everywhere that it's supposed to. Happy days. The last thing that I want to talk about is that there is a toggle that you can now turn on that will allow you to prevent a photo from being saved on somebody's phone. This has been there for a while, but I think they finally got this like kind of ironed out to where it's working now. So in the documentation, if I go to options, the essentials, there is this section down here called Save Images to Gallery, right? So this is an option inside your app where you can turn it on and off. This if you turn it on, then photos will not be saved to the device's camera gallery. The restriction for this, though, is that it's only available for higher levels of Android and iOS. Earlier versions, they say here, images are always saved to the gallery. That's kind of nice to know. I know that, if you're building an app where, like, for instance, I have somebody where we're building an app that's for inspections, right? So it's all about, like, taking photos to confirm that somebody did what they said that they did. Yeah, like, after a while, you get, like, 10,000 photos, and, like, the device is like, nope, I'm done. I don't want that. And it just craps out. So this is a super nice thing that will help manage things of that nature so that you can continue to scale your apps. All right, that's basically all I got for the AppSheet news. The next thing that I'm going to do is we're going to dive into a deep dive. This one doesn't come from a patron. This one actually comes from a YouTube comment. Let's get to it. All right, so let's say you've got some collection of data and you're generating a PDF, but part of that data is you've got child records, and maybe those child records are in groups. You've got categories, you've got whatever, right? There's some category, there's some higher level grouping that sits above the child records. And when you print the PDF, you want all of the records to be sorted into the individual groups. How do you do something like that? All right, well, I've tried to do this before and I ran into some difficulties. We're going to do it this time 100%, right? The key here to getting this sort of system to work is you have to have records for the categories that you want to work with. You can't use the values that are inside the child records themselves. It doesn't work that way. Just by the nature of how automation works and how AppSheet works and how it processes records and like the way that works, you can't get a group without something for the system to work on. Do you know what I mean? You could probably hack this because, Where are you going?
Another way. Always another way.
Could resist. You know what I mean? So you could probably hack this and make it work, but I prefer to try and do things in a more standard way that's scalable, that's going to work. And the key to making it work that way is you need to include a secondary table for whatever categories you're talking about. Because then the categories become records inside the system. And then now that it's got these records, it's got a thing that it can work with. That's the key. It needs a thing to work with. Automation, when it's trying to make the category, it needs a thing that it can work with. And that thing is a record inside of a table. So I've got my reports sample app here, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do what I attempted to do before. And I'm going to make this a grouped thingamajig. So when I print this report, instead of just listing everything, right, I want to group these things based on what's going on. Okay, so let's first do a little high-level information to get everybody familiar with what the scenario is, right? So I've got a list of users, I've got a list of construction job entries, and I have reports. So the point of the report is what I want to do is I want to select multiple different kinds of job types that I've done, and then maybe build or unbuild or whatever. I can filter by a date, right? And then this gives me a list of however many records. In this case, I have 42. Now the idea then is that instead of just viewing everything in one massive list, I want to be able to say like drilled shafts and then all the things, and then something else and all the things. You get what I mean? So like if I create a new record here and I have like these first 4 and I just save that and we look at it, right? Instead of this, because this is how it would print currently, just like this, just whatever. Instead of that, what I want my PDF to look like is, I see this is a fast table, so I've got to make a table view for construction job entries. We'll call this job entries inline, and it needs to be a table of the ref variety. Yep. All right, so what I'd really want to do is I want to group this by the type. Get what I mean? So that when I'm looking at my report, I have this nice grouped view, right? So, okay, I got it now in the view. How do I do it inside the report? So, first thing I need to do, right? The key that I said in the beginning here is you need to have things for the system to work with. I need a new table, 100% new table. So, go here. I'm going to open up my data source and make a new table. What's up, Luis, Cage, Graham, Light? Welcome, everybody. We will get to your questions. I see there's some questions. I will get to them. Got more. Put them in the comments. So, first thing we need is a list of the construction types, right? So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to copy this whole column, make a new table, and we'll say something like job types, right? All right. And I'm going to put my list here. Now, I should be able to, if I highlight this way, so maybe you're unaware of this, but Google Sheets has a lot of really good tools and things for cleaning up your data inside here. So if you go to data, there's this data cleanup. Like they have this remove duplicates thing. Oh man, like I cannot tell you how amazing that is that they've put that in as a standard thing. So, right, it kept the blank. We'll get rid of the blank, but like there we go. I now have, if I sort these, I now have 1 for 1 for each of the items that was inside that giant table. So now I've got my list of things that the system needs in order to process. Do you know what I mean? All I've got to do now is add this to my app. All right, so I'm going to just clean this up a bit, crop it to the data. Yep. Okay. Make sure it's called job types. Okay. Now we go back to AppSheet and refresh the page so that it catches this new table. Now here's a helpful tip. You see this? So I added that table, but it's not catching it. All right. So if you ever find yourself in this situation where you're trying to add a new table to your app, but it's not finding it, like you can sit here and hit the refresh page over and over and over again. It's probably not going to find it. The thing you have to do here is when you're in this instance, you got to like go find the data source again, and then you can add it again. Here's a helpful hint. So the thing that you can do to avoid this so that this doesn't happen, for whatever reason, if you leave an empty sheet inside the data source for your app, for whatever reason, that causes the AppSheet system here to like keep looking for new tables. You know what I mean? This is what it feels like, like, oh, there's still something there. They're still working on it. And then when you use all of them, it's like the system's like, okay, we're done with that file. There's nothing left, even though I've just added something. So if you leave an empty sheet at the very far end, then you don't run into this problem. Because like now, in order for me to solve this, I'm going to have to go into here, find my Google Sheet, and like, all right, I'm just going to look for the name of the construction job entries. Yep, see, there it is. Found it. And yeah, here we go. So now I can find it that way. If you leave a blank sheet inside your source, you don't have to do that for whatever reason. Helpful hint. Now I have my list of job types, right? Booyah. So the thing that I need to do now is, let's see. There's a few ways I could come into here and I could change this now to a reference to the job types. And by doing that, what it would give me the ability to do is I could then go, if I made a view of my job types, and like, I'll put that in the menu. All right. Now that I've got this, I can click on it and see just those records by themselves. Kind of nice. All right. Now we've got the reference table that we need that gives us the things that we need to work with. We've got our primary data things that we're working with. Now we've got this report table. Like the report table is where we're actually building the query that we're doing, right? This is where we say these job types between these dates, this, right? And then at the end of that, we have a list of all of the items that we're going to eventually put onto this PDF. All right. The thing we need to do now is we need to add in another list, another finalized list column that is a list of all of the categories that are inside this list of items. This is really easy because all we got to do is list dereference all of the types out of the child records and just uniqueify the list. Done. Let me show you how to do it real quick. So what we're talking about here is adding a column to my to my reports table, where I've got this column up here that is the report output list. That is the list of all of the actual child records that will go onto the file. So it's out of this list that we need to dereference what is the type. And so I'm going to call this report job type output list. Okay, wait for it to save. Cool. Come back here. Regenerate to grab my new column. Oh yeah. Now, oh, I regenerated the wrong table. Whoops. You ever do that? Man. You know, back in the day, if you would have done that, that would have caused mass problems. Because like that regenerate thing, you think, if you're from back in the day, oh man, comment in the comments if you've ever been down that road in the early days. Woo, it was bad. Okay, I've got my reports. Here we go. My report job type output, right? So what do I need to do? I need to change this to an enum list with a base type reference to the job types table, right? Where it has an app formula of, so we come down here and find my output list, insert that, and now I need to do a list dereference. So what am I looking for? This is a list of the construction job entries records down here. And so I'm looking for what is the construction types inside all of those records. So I'm just going to copy the name of this column, come here, and put it just like that. That's the list dereference. There's no dot, right? And so now that will give me a list of, if I show you what this looks like, if I leave it like this, I'm going to have a whole bunch of duplicates because it's literally every value from the list. So, you know, just like here, there's two masonries, there'd be two masonries, right? See, like, look at this. It's all drilled shafts for this one. So, and then this one over here, right? There's all these duplicates. So I need to wrap this list dereference in unique. And then I might also wrap it in a sort so that they're in alphabetical order. Now, if I go look at this one, the drilled shafts, instead of having a whole bunch, is just one. And then this other list down here, it's now a single value for each one, and they are in order. Happy days. this now gives me my derivative list that I need of all of the categories that we need to print onto our PDF, right? And so all I need to do here is save this so it propagates. And then we can go and we can start modifying. Go to our automation. We've got this report where we make the report, right? We've got our template file here. All right. Now we get into the meat and potatoes. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, the idea here, right, is I have this start expression where if I pull this out of here, I'm gonna make sure I keep everything together. Okay, if I pull that out, we can see this is literally just printing the output display, right? Okay, the only thing that I need to do is I need to wrap this start inside of another one. So this is when you start getting into nested start expressions. Boy, this is where it gets really thick, really fast. But I'll just high level tell you, you can do some amazing things with nested expressions like this. You have the ability to, at whatever level you're on, you can say, I'm on level 4. Right? I'm 4 levels down, and you can say, give me a value from the 3rd level and from the 2nd and from the 1st. And like you can get a value from each, you can get any values from all of these different levels. So the level of complexity that you can do for like layering things and like, oh, but only if we're doing that and only if layer 2 is this and layer 1 has that in this column and this has that over there in that column. Like, yeah, you can get crazy like that. So starting it first off though, right? What do we need to do? What I want to do is, so if I just like create a base outlook of like what I want this to look like, right? So this is going to be a table. And what I really want is I want like a label here at the very top, you know what I mean? Above the group for whatever the group is. Just trying to get some little, there we go. I want to label like that. And maybe I'll add a space after the paragraph, right? So then the idea is each time this report prints a category, this whole little section will be repeated, right? I'll have a label. There'll be a header bar that says date, cost, billing, hours the whole table will be copied for each category. Okay. That means that what I'm really doing, if I put this back where it belongs, okay, that means what I'm really doing is I'm starting a start expression up here above before this label. This is the first of the layers, right? So I say start, and just like I did down here, where I'm just doing the one column, I'm just doing the one column. If I go back to my reports table, I have this job type output, right? All I'm doing is printing that list. So if I come here, just like that, and it's already in alphabetical order, it's already unique, boom. So this starts it, and then I'm gonna move this label up here, just like that. So this is the start, and then I want it to print this table to do this. I have to modify that, and then down here, I want it to end the start expression. All right. Now, what do we do to this middle thing, right? That's where all the complication comes in. So if I just grab this, I guess I didn't need to move it yet. All right. The thing I need to do now is I got to change this report output display so that it knows, so that this start expression is paying attention to the group that we started in the first start expression. This is where this row -1 comes into play, because the report back here is like level 0, right? And then I said, cool, start this. And so that took me to level 1. And then I'm saying start this, and this kind of takes me to like level 2, right? And so from level 2, I'm saying, cool, go back 1 and give me, what is the type that we're doing over here? All right. So let's take our start expression and let's spread it out so we have some room to work, right? All right, so here's the start of the start expression. Here's the end of the start expression. And it's really this middle bit that I need to change. Right now, this is showing everything. All right, I got to change this to a select statement. And where I'm saying is select for me all of the, and this is where we just kind of go brute force. Select for me all of the job entries. Go back here. The job entry ID. Oops. Yep, there. Where and, okay, because there's two things that we need to confirm. First, that the ID of the thing that we're trying to print is inside this list here. So it's, first off, it's part of what we're printing, right? So in paste, port output display. What happened? Background music went weird. Got really quiet all of a sudden. So is the time log ID that we're trying to select from the construction job entries, is that inside the report output display? Okay, that's part number one first. Also then is the type, so we can come in here, we can grab the type column name. Also is the construction type equal to this row -1 dot, and then now this is where I'm on this construction type table. So now I got to go get, or the job types here, and get the name of the column here that I'm trying to match it to. All right. Hopefully this works, because I feel like this is how far I got last time, and this row -1 thing didn't work. We shall see. Okay, the thing I need to do, yep, up here in the first branch of this in statement, I just can't leave it like that. I need to say this row. I think that's where I ran into the problem, is that when I tried to do this row thing, it didn't work. And I believe the solution was to throw in the number. Like, just to, instead of telling it to try and go back to this row, which should take it all the way back to the root, I just do it like this row -2. We'll see if it works though, but I believe that was the problem that I ran into last time. Okay, so close the and, close the select. Now let's look at this and see what is this thing doing. So I'm saying select for me all the job entries IDs where the time log is inside this row's report output display, and where the construction type is equal to this row -1 construction type, because I started printing a construction type here, right? That's the idea. Let's see if it works, shall we? So if I bring this up here, and then this whole little haw needs to go there. All right. And then we can bring this up here. All right. Let's see if the system will take this or not. So if I come back to automation, right? So I've been messing with this create a file thing. So in order to get the system to check the file that I've just been messing with, you can't just do a regular save. You have to do what I call a deep save. Click the little drop down next to the save button and do this save and verify. Save and verify, I call it a deep save. What it does is when you do that, it checks your external files to make sure everything's okay. And just like this, it came back and it said, nope, there's a problem. Yeah, so was it unable to find time log? Yeah, so, okay. All right, let's debug this. So if we break this out of this tiny space, so it's saying, if we come in here to the debug, expression start select blah 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 is invalid due to unable to find time log ID. Okay, well I use it here, I use it here. So, all right. Let's check and make sure. I bet you that's not the problem. But we will keep looking. See, like this other one, expression is unable to find time log timestamp. So it's a matter of context, I bet. Yeah, see, like time log total cost. Where's the... Oh, time log timestamp. Oh, that's the first thing that I'm putting into here. So it can't find that column. That's what it's saying here. Yeah, it can't find. So it looks like it's a context issue. So let me try this. So last time, I think the solution was doing something like that. So let me just try that and see if it works. If it does, I'll explain why. But, all right, so now I need to make an arbitrary change just so I can get the save button and go. All right. See if it works. All right. Nope. Still doesn't like it. Okay. All right. I feel like this is just a repeat of last time, eh? There's a way to get this to work. And I promise this does work. All right. I think, all right, the way that I did this last time was bit by bit. So take out the and, take out this. And so what I really want to say is just something like that. Yeah. Select for me the job entries, time log ID. Let's make sure that that's the right column name, right? Okay, yeah, time log ID. It's the same there. Let's make sure it's the same thing in AppSheet too. Job entries. Time log ID, and it is the key. All right, so that is 100% the thing that we should be using. So I'm just going to paste that. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. I'm just making sure that I had the right thing. You know what I mean? Okay, so select for me these where the construction type is this row -1 construction type. Let's see if this works. Oh, debugging. Yeah, buddy. Good stuff. Need to make an arbitrary change. There we go. And save. What's up, Oscar? Thanks for joining in, buddy. Check the file, use the test, refresh. Filter, huh? Maybe. Filter's just a port. Filter is just a port for select there, Oscar. Literally what happens when you use filter, like there's a step thrown before the processing where it translates your filter statement into a select statement. That's why I just stick with select statements because that's where the system runs anyways. Helpful. But it still doesn't like this. It can't find construction type now. What's your big issue, man? Why do you always do this? Why do the template things always do this when I'm trying to stream? Okay, first thing we do, like this is what I did after I streamed last time. First thing I'm gonna do, does this work by itself? Like, just print for me all of the labels that I've selected. Or will you at least do that? Okay, you will at least do that. Cool. Now, if I remember right, it was this table that I had inside here. Like there was corrupt HTML inside it because that table was created by AppSheet. When I said, hey, make a thing for me. And like, if I remember right, the solution was I had to start over and remake the whole table. All right. So if I just remake the table really quick, we do this nice blue. We do this as a gray. I guess I need to select everything. It's this nice light gray. It's a little too dark for me. There we go. All right. And like this was date. And then let's see, what are the things that I want? The job entries. So date, it's going to be grouped by type. So total hours, total cost, and build or not. Build. Cost. total hours. All right. That is my headers. So now what I'm really looking to do is I want to start, right? I want to try something weird here. Just bear with me on this. I've been doing a lot of really weird things with intersect that have been amazing. I just want to see if this will work. So like the idea when I'm starting this is I'm in the context, and it won't work with start. Now, damn it. I could do some. I think there's some magic to be had with intersect here. But I'm going to save that for later. Oh yeah, same problems with the default ones. Really? Okay. Wow. I'm glad I'm not the only person that's been having problems with those. Yeah, there's something about those default things when you tell it to make it. There's something in there that doesn't work right. All right, let's just get the columns that I want. So it's the timestamp, right? Like that. We can copy that whole thing. Build cost hours. So total hours. Total hours, total cost, build, in the build. All right. Now, the idea then is start for me all of the construction job types, the IDs. Where in, let's try it this way, are in the construction type. Let's see if this will work. This row, -1, dot. Oh, you know what? I need to change this label up here to the column I'm supposed to be using in the thing. Just caught that. To this construction type. Because otherwise it's just going to literally print the word label here every time. That's not what I want. It's not what I want. I want, yeah, the construction type. There you go. Thanks. But I also need that down here, right? So that construction type. So this closes the in. I think I was forgetting the select. Was I? Did I forget to put the select on there the first time? I don't know. I don't know. All right, so there's my select statement that I think should work. I need to put a corresponding end here and move this start here. All right. See if this works. Probably not. Fingers crossed. Damn it. Parameter 2 of the in is wrong. Oh, yeah, totally. Yep, okay. All right, well, that's a good start. It gave me an appropriate error. That's a good sign. That's my fault. Yep, nope. I need this to be where the construction type equals this row dot whatever. Yeah, there we go. And I need to get rid of one closing parenthesis. Okay. Maybe? Fingers crossed? Ooh. Did this just work? Okay, it's partially working. At least it's, yeah, okay. All right. Let's update this file and see what it does, because this is the one that has the groups. All right, in order for me to see that, I'm going to have to go to my Google Drive and find... Okay, that's updated, so, yep, here it is. And can I open that in a new... Yeah, here we go. I want to open... One second. I'm getting the folder open, so then I can come over here. There it is. All right, so this is the file, and you can see it's 11:10 and 11:09. So this just updated. And if we go inside, we have a group and a whole bunch of records. We have a group and a whole bunch of records. Okay. So we're moving in the right direction. All right. Yes. All right. We're moving in the right direction. So now, if I come back into my start expression here. Okay. So this only takes into consideration one thing right now. But the thing it's taking into consideration is, like if I break this open so that we can see what's going on in the middle, the thing that it is taking into consideration, like this row -1, like that thing is working. All right. It's not giving us an error, so it's working. All right. The thing we need to do now is we need to throw in another branch. So just and, okay, where in the time log is the time log inside. I'm just going to try it by itself. This row dot the output list. Go to the reports table, the primary output list. Put that here. Close the in, do a comma, come down to the bottom here, close the and. Okay. Make sure this is right. Look for syntax problems. And in comma this row dot report output list closed. Yep. Okay, so this right here, this row with no number on it, that tells the system to go all the way back to the root, right? Where did we start from? The report. That should work. All right. Wait for it to save. Come back here. Let's see. Go to here. Make some kind of arbitrary change. And fingers crossed. Okay. All right. It didn't like what I just did. Fair enough. So I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to say this row -2. Instead trying just the root thing, let's see if I can just tell it to do that. Come on, work for me here. Damn it. All right, what's the problem? Man, it worked partially. Don't you hate it when things only kind of work? Ugh. This is the second time I've been down this road, literally. All right. Select the job entries where and in the time log ID, this row -2 dot output list. So it can't find the column time log ID. So the problem it's having is a matter of the change of context. Because I'm trying to tell it to do 2 contexts in one. Man, like, this is literally the exact place that I got to last time. And then I stopped the stream, cooled down, came back, and was able to get it to work. Doing exactly what I just did. What am I missing? There's one little thing that I'm missing. What am I missing? Okay, this first start thing works. The second start thing works as well. Right? A template manual. Oh my god. For real. No, but here's the problem, bro. Like, if I go and I look at the template manual that we have, nested start expressions. So if I search for this and using a start expression in this, okay. It's inside here somewhere. Reverse reference select, controlling the blah, 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 blah. Somewhere in here. Maybe it's not this. Anyways, in here there is a place. I'm not going to look for it. There is a place, maybe one of you guys can find it. There is documentation in here that talks about how to do this nested stuff. Let's try this row minus 1. Yeah. I guess if I search for that. Yeah, see? Literally, this is what it's talking about. Where you have access to all of these grandparent levels and everything. This is quite literally exactly what I've put inside the thing. So let's see, the most fun the back anchors. Okay, yeah. Like templates, yeah, they're a lot of fun. It's amazing when you get it to work, but trying to get it to work though. Well, I tell you what. See, like this row by itself should get me all the way back up to the top. But like this is broken for some reason. Record column name. Like I'm thinking, do I need to throw a dereference in the middle here? Like, is it? No, this is exactly how it, like I've been doing this for years. This is how it's supposed to be. Just like this. Just like this. Actually, just like that. That is how it's supposed to go. Why it's not working? Yeah. So let's try this. Let's not do a table. Let's try it like this. What if I just, whatever, get rid of all this, delete the table really quick, and just do these without a table? Will it work this way? Welcome to my life. But you're right. It should work. Yeah, I know, right? All right, well, okay. This doesn't have the error. Something else. What's got the error now? Oh, it's an unmatched span problem? Yeah, probably. Let's just... All right, let's just do that then. Let's get rid of all the formatting. Like, bro, I'm starting to get to, like, the point where I'm... Like, when I get to these points, like, I start going scorched earth on everything. It's like, yep, nope, starting over 100%. Like, nope, gone. Whatever's there, we're going over. Because clearly there's one little thing somewhere that I keep passing over that's wrong. An unmatched end. How so? Can I not have these on the same line? That's news to me. All right, maybe these, like, okay, I notice all of these are like hard line breaks. So maybe I need to like bring all of this like that. Man, like we're getting into the weeds here of why this isn't working. Like what's going on here? Like this is the point where I go, yep, come back in 2 hours. We'll figure it out later. All right. We're finally got this to where this is finally in a green state. It's not complaining. Inside here, I have this row output list and this row minus. It's literally the table that's causing the problem. Let's run this and see if it works. All right. So this is that file that should have this guy right here. So it was updated at 11:09. And if we watch, yep, okay. If we come back here, 11:19. And if we look at it, okay. But now, like, are these things actually the things that are inside the things? You know what I mean? Like, all right, well, let's go look. How many asphalt paving records are we supposed to have inside that group? So, asphalt paving, if we do a filter here where the type is... Yep, asphalt paving. And we do this with a count. Try it again. 19. Okay. How many? Yeah, that's probably 19. You know what I mean? All right, that might be 19. Let's see. Will it count? Yeah, 19 rows. Yeah. All right. So, all right. Okay. So, we've successfully figured out that the problem is the table. It's the same thing that I said last time, the system generated table, but dude, I created that table by myself and it still broke it. So clearly there's something funky going on with tables and nested start expressions. But the formula that I have inside here is now doing the thing that I was originally intending for this to do, where it prints based on the groups that are inside the things, right? So that's that. I mean, that kind of got to the point of what I was looking for. Kind of got to the point. But it doesn't look very nice, you know what I mean? Let's see if we can't make this look nice now, all right? So, okay. We know the problem was a table. So let's just try 2 columns where I'm going to say start that and end it there. Right? Just, can we do that? So I've got the construction type here at the top. See if that breaks it, if I do that. Okay. So I did 2 things on this. Let's go back here, do some no, okay, there we go. Yeah, it's already here. So save it. Do we get red? I'm expecting it to come back broken. Okay. Whoa. All right. Okay. All right. Oscar, I'd call this a bug. Yeah, there's clearly something funky going on here. Yeah, okay, so it said that this works, okay, but I don't have a header. And I'm not doing anything in the second column. Okay, so let's try and do something in the second column now. So I have the timestamp, so I want the total hours. Oops, I need carrots. All right, let's see if we can't get the total hours to show up now. All right. No red? All right. Okay. All right. Let's try and do this for real then. So I want to do, yep, just like this. I want to move that here. And I want to copy this little, put that everywhere. And the thing that, is there a, yeah, what is this? What is this extra space? I don't want you. That's one on the start too. And then, so I want total hours, total cost, and the billable status. All right. Wait for it to save. Go back to AppSheet. Will you take it? All right. We're working. So let's run this and see if this will, see what this looks like when I run it on, not that one, on report number 2. No, report number 1. It's weird. Report number 1. All right, run it, hit the update. Luis asks, time log isn't in this row -1. What do you mean? This row -1 is really difficult to debug too, because you can't do it in AppSheet. If we look at this file, it's just updated. Okay, all right, yeah. And you know what we could do to confirm that these are all the right types? Like, I could just throw another column here and print the type too. You know what I mean? We can literally see that everything inside here is going to be just the same. Everything inside the types is going to be the same type. Okay, I'll do that real quick so you can see what that file looks like. So this is what it looks like now, and when this updates, we should have a list. So like this should say asphalt paving all the way down, right? Okay, that's done. Come back here, right? Asphalt paving all the way down. Casework all the way down. Construction clean and final clean all the way down, right? So that formula is totally working. Now, why it wasn't working in the first place, I'm pretty sure this is the exact same formula I was using. All right, let's try this. It didn't work when I put this column above it. So if I just try it by the column itself, will it accept this empty row above the start expression? Maybe this is what kills it. Nope. All right. All right. So then let's try this. Date, hours, cost, billable. And I'm going to get rid of this now that we've seen that this does do what we wanted. Where is it? Delete column. Okay, now let's leave it like this and see if it accepts it like this. Perhaps it was the formatting that I was putting on the header that was causing the problem. Yeah, see, it likes it. It doesn't have a problem here. All right, so if we try and make these all bold, wait for it to save. Like, I'm going to do everything one at a time now and see if we can't find the one thing that makes this break. Bold doesn't have a problem. Okay, let's try making the background a specific color. Okay. One at a time. I'm only doing this because I'm recording, and otherwise I just moved on a long time ago. This is happy. All right. Can I do the line color to this light color now? And I want to remove. I see there is I want to remove that. All right. So I'm really curious to know what's different between red? No. Okay. Yeah. All right. What's different between this and the thing that I had the first time? You know what I mean? Like, what's different?
Where are you going? Another way. Always another way.
Well, all right. We'll figure it out, right? This works. Let's see the output. If we run this, we can see what the grouped report finally looks like. And so, yep, that's that. And, yep, if we look, here is our final report. So obviously, I'd clean up the top part over here, right? But yeah, here we go. The thing I might do now is, I want to put these in order, right? Yeah, so I'm going to do some last little bits here. But you can see we've got this going. The thing I want to do now, right? I want to order these based on build and unbuild, and then by date. All right, so what do? Go back to my thing. Now I'm really just back into like normal AppSheet formula land. If you think about it in that way, right? I have this select statement, and I just need to like modify the select statement. Like all the stuff in the middle is complex and everything. Yeah, sure. But I just need to order this with an order by, then go to the end of the select statement. And I need to order it by some column based on false, and then by another column, and then close my order by. Okay. First thing I'm ordering these things by are the construction time entries build or unbuild. Okay. So that's the first placeholder, false. And then I want to do them by timestamp, the date. Yes. So if I put this back here, go back here to my automation, and let's check the file and make sure that the changes that I just did don't cause a break. Okay, we're at a green state. Cool. I'll come back to my report and update it. You can see what this looks like now. So these things should now be sorted by build and unbuild, build being first, and then by date. Do you think? All right. Build, unbuild. And in the build, January, yep, 1, 3, 4, 6, 7. You like it when things work? All right, the last thing that I'm going to do for this thing is, now that I've got everything where it's printing the groups and then all the appropriate items, I want to do some fancy stuff. and I want to put down at the bottom at like, it's like the last row of these little subtables, I want a total. How do we do that? We're getting crazy now. Let's do it. All right. So the idea here, right, is I've got this select statement here. And this select statement is limiting the rows that are being printed inside each category, right? And so really what I want to do is I want to basically run that select statement again, but instead of looking for the IDs of the records that I'm trying to filter, instead I want the hour column, right? And so then that select statement gets me all of the hour values that would have been printed in that list, and it makes a list of those. Hop, skip, and a jump. All I got to do is wrap that in a sum, and we're done. Yeah. All right, so back here to my template, add in a row below where this start and end. So the start and the end is all in the first row, and then I've got a second row. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give this totals, right? And like, I'm going to make this bold. I'm going to move this all the way onto the right. Yeah. And so now what I need to do then is like, I want a total here. I want a total here, right? So here's what you do. Come up here, grab your little start expression, just the start part, not the whole thing, right? And come down here and put it inside here. Okay, what you got to do now is you need to get rid of the start part, okay, so that you're just the select statement. I guess you could have just copied that part. Now, you can get rid of the order by, because we don't need to order these by whatever's going on, right? We just need the root select by itself. Okay, so that's this part. Now, inside the select statement, what you're selecting is that first part that's in square brackets. So this is the time log ID. I just need to change that to the column that I'm trying to sum. So if I just come up here and copy this, come down here and paste that. So now this select statement will create the list of all of these corresponding records that have been printed in this group. I just need to wrap this in a sum. Come down here and close it. All right, let's see if this works, right? Come back here, come to the thing, make some kind of arbitrary change so I can do a save and verify. Looking for a green state. Hey, we got a green state. Oh, don't you like it when things work? All right. So now this is going to give me the total of all of my hours for this category. Oh, copy this, paste it. Oops. There we go. Maybe. Paste it in here and just change the column. So like up here, copy that, come in here to the start, find the first square bracket bit. That's it. That's all it takes. Well, maybe I'll make these bold. There you go. We're done. Let's run this and see what this looks like. Oh, don't you like it when things work? Oh, I like it when things work. All right, we come back here and we look at our report. We have our asphalt stuff. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yep. And we have our totals. Hey. Now, I've got a challenge for everybody that's been watching this now. All right, the thing that I challenge you to do next is to take this subgroup, right? And if there are billed and unbilled records being printed, how can you print the unbilled and then put a total row? And then print the billed and have a total row? Challenge. All right, that is how you can create a nested select statement to create a grouped PDF with the happy bonus of a totals line at the very bottom. All right, that's all I got for that part. Let's move on to the last part, your questions. All right, I see there's a lot. Oscar Furious is the man with a lot of stuff to say. What's up, Oscar? I'm going to go all the way back up to the top. Let's see. One of the very first questions in the chat was from Light, and they say, "Hey, Matt, I was wondering, is there a way to show a view in the interactive dashboard only when a ref value is interacted with?" So, yes. I think the thing that you would have to do there is, so I'm imagining you have like a field that is where you can select something, right? Where you select the parent that you're dealing with, and I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. And like I'm guessing what you want to happen is, if there's nothing selected inside the thing, don't show whatever's over there. Okay, if that's what you're shooting for, it's relatively simple. The view inside your dashboard is a dedicated view, right? It's a chart, it's a table, it's a detail view, whatever. So what you have to do is you have to put a view, a show if formula on that view, the specific one that you're trying to hide, right? Put a show if on that that's looking at the control inside your current user slice. So, right, you've got the one field where I can select something if that's blank. So your formula becomes is not blank, current user, whatever thing you're dealing with. And that way, when somebody selects something, it shows up. Yeah. Graham Paisley asked, does the macro keypad work with a Chromebook, or is it just PC and Mac? Okay, so the way that the MacroPad itself works, so if I just go back to here and kind of show you, so the way that this actually works, the MacroPad itself, the root code that's running on this thing tells your computer that this device is just another storage device. It mirrors two things. It mirrors a storage device and a keyboard and mouse and an input device, I guess. Because the thing with this is, like, you can actually output mouse commands as well, as in like move the mouse over here, click, move. Like, you can control all of that sort of system level stuff from this MacroPad. And the way that the computer sees the MacroPad is it's just a storage device and it's just another input device. So like, it's just another keyboard. It's just another mouse. That's how it works. So yeah, like you could just plug it in. And the thing is, like, all of the software needed for the MacroPad to work with your computer is stored on the MacroPad itself. It's literally plug and play on any device. I've taken this and I've plugged it into my laptop and it works. I plug it into my PC, it works. I've taken it to friends' houses where they wanted some help and I was like, I'm just see if this works. Took it, totally worked. So literally you could probably figure out a way to plug this into your smartphone and like you press it, it'd probably type out whatever the macro was. I'm curious to see some other uses that people come up with this. Yeah, buddy. All right, let's see what else we got here. Quite new to AppSheet, haven't faced it up, blah, 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 blah. Oscar Furious. Filter stuff. It seems people had a lot of problems with these templates. I'm going to definitely throw this portion of the video to somebody on AppSheet's engineering team and be like, yo, you see what I went through? Like, I don't know what happened, but maybe you could tell me what was different from the first but the end. But like, yeah, templates are like, anytime that I get to a template, yeah, man, that's like the thing that I tell my clients is like, all right, this is the thing that takes the longest of all things. Like, there is no fast way to do template stuff. It's always a long, slow, drawn out process, because like the only way that you can check to see if something works is to verify. So you've got to do a deep save, which takes longer, right? Because it's doing a whole bunch of stuff on top of what I want it to do. And then you got to run the automation and then go look at the file to see if it worked. So it's like there's this long process, right? Just to see if something worked to where, yeah, it just takes forever. But you can do some amazing, amazing things. Let's see. Oscar says in here, you'd be surprised about the fact that I get way less errors from using my HTML templates than with GJOX and MS Word, just because those begin with what you see, what you get editors, and you don't know. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, the creating HTML files, you can do some amazing things with that. And then like you throw into the fact that the in the preview program is the fact that you can use HTML code inside of a long text. So like, mate, you can completely set your system up to where maybe you've got columns on whatever table that you're using to make your HTML file, where like each of these records stores the little bit of HTML code that it needs for its little piece. You know what I mean? And then like the file maker is just taking all of those little bits of code and putting them together. I know that's a common thing that I have to do whenever I'm using Quick Chart. Like that's what I'll have to do, because the chart will need bits of information for each item that you're trying to show inside the chart. And so like you have to have that information somewhere. And so it just makes sense to store that on the child record that is that individual entry itself. So like they store what they need, and then I've got like this other thing that like takes all that, puts it together, and you make a chart. HTML is fantastic, man. Yeah. What is this? He says, just curious, if you change the select table ID for select this row -1's list dereference. Okay, so select table ID for select. Okay, no. So I see where you're going with that, Oscar. So if I break out this and I copy your two select statements that you're talking about. So, okay, there are two fundamental differences between these two statements here, right? So this is going to say go back one level and then just list whatever's inside that. Whereas this version right here is telling the system, go to whatever table and give me every value in the ID column or whatever column you put inside there. Do you know what I mean? No, but same thing. Even if you put the dot inside there, still the same thing. This is going to be the fact that you're doing like this related column. That related column has, like if we're looking at my employee record and I have my employee assignments and I've only got 5, there's only 5 records inside that list. So when I do this row -1 related whatever, like that list is only the 5 records for whatever record that I'm looking at, versus this top part. This syntax right here where you say, table, and then ID and square, and then like whatever column, like that syntax right there. This technically you don't need the select statement. You can just leave it just like that. And I call this a table call. And basically what this is doing is it tells the system, go to whatever table I said and give me every value inside whatever column that I said, right? And so it's literally giving you everything. That is the difference. But the related changes of each record for the first start, right? Am I missing something? Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Like, yeah. No. It's the thing is that this syntax right here is in particular, right? This guy in particular is a special syntax inside AppSheet that says literally give me every value inside that column for that table, right? Yep. And if you use that inside your template, you'd still have that same problem. That's the thing, is like you have to you have to use the derivative lists. You know, you have to use the related whatevers or whatnot. This is where, like, I've been playing around with intersect a lot. Like, I have a related list of records over there, and I have a related list of records over there. Okay, and if the records are the same list, okay, so like I could take these two and I could say, well, what's the intersection between those two? And then that gives me like a derivative list. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's like I'm doing a select filter, but I'm not doing the brute force thing. What I'm doing is I'm saying, here's a list, what's common between them? Which seems like it would be a lot easier on the system, especially if I have, you know, like 50,000 records, right? Like, now the only thing that the system's doing is it's saying like list and list, find the commons. I've been doing that a lot, and I'm thinking like that use of intersect could be a way to where you could get some incredibly detailed, like really narrowed, really narrowed down things where it's like this list and like you know what I mean? But all of that's done using this intersect thing, so there's no heavy lifting having to be done anymore. My thing is, I don't know, I've never explored like what happens with this intersect if I've got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of records, and then I'm trying to do this intersect stuff. Does it work better? I don't know. Haven't done that exploration yet. Something that I'm definitely going to do. Let's go here. Light says, hey Matt, I get the point of using the slice, but is it possible when I click on a card only, then the details pop up through the show if condition? Yeah. So this gets weird. Okay. So Light's asking about like, okay, if I click on a card or a deck view or a table view or a gallery, like if I click on something, can I then make the detail view for that show up? The answer is yeah, but the way in which you go about the mechanics of that can get messy pretty quick. You basically, what you need, right, is you have to have, well, what did the person click on? So that means that you have to store what did the person click on somewhere in the system. Usually the best place is inside your user table. You can create a column for this type of thing. The hard part is you've got to figure out how to get the value that the person's clicking on into the space over there. And the thing that you want to avoid is you don't want to do anything to the record that the person's clicking on, because we're talking about building a system that's got multiple users for it. So I can't be modifying a record that somebody else is possibly modifying to. Like, that's not going to work. You know what I mean? You're going to have crosstalk all over the place. So the thing that I found to make that work, this is it gets really fun now, include a secondary table that's literally a temporary variable table. This is a fun thing where it's literally a temporary variable table where like this is where you can get a lot of magic stuff to go, where when I click on this record, it creates a record in the temporary variable table where like the only thing I'm storing is the ID of the record that I clicked on. Maybe I store some other stuff, but that's the idea. So I click on it in this table. It creates a record in the temporary variable storing the ID of the thing that I just clicked on. Okay, since I did that, I've now got that temporary variable record. Like if I put the email or the user ID of the person that created it, I can now separate those out and I can find that last thing that this person just made. The last temporary variable that they made is the thing that they just did, right? There you go. Then you can pull that value. The really complex method of getting values from one place to another, but like largely when you build complex systems inside AppSheet, the problem you run into at the end, like when you're downstream and you're like way down there and you've had hundreds of hours of work put into your app, like when you get to that point, that's where you start running into the problem of how do I get this value from here to there? And there's no connection between these two at all, nor do I want to create one in any way. I don't want a connection, but I need to somehow get this value over there. Like that becomes a problem a lot. And this temporary variable table is a thing that you can do that'll solve that. I'll make a video on it in the future, but it's yeah, since I've started doing that, all of my moving data around problems are completely gone. Like, and then like you can create your system where but it looks like too much of a work for a better UI. You know what I mean? Yeah. You'd be better off there, Light. Just go with the interactive dashboard, right? Just stick with that or with the enhanced dashboard. But it sounds like what you're wanting is like the tap and then the thing shows up. So you're probably better off sticking with the interactive dash. You can combine these two things together. If you're not aware, like you can make an enhanced dashboard section, right? Like one column is the enhanced dashboard where I have fields where like I can filter by client and I can filter by whatever and right? And then I've got a secondary column where like maybe this is a list of all of the projects for the client that I clicked on, right? And then the interactive part now works with when I click on the project, I have the project details, you know? And so then like the enhanced dashboard filters my list of projects. And then the interactive part, just native part of AppSheet, does the, yeah. So that works. It actually creates a really smooth interface sometimes. That's the thing with AppSheet, right? Trying to get that interface how you want it, that's the hardest part. Thanks for all the questions, comments, tips. Yeah, man. Really would be interesting to know what was going on with the template there. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna go back and watch this and like pause the video and see if I can't find. It has to be that table, or there was some syntaxing. Maybe I forgot a comma or something. You know, who knows? But anyways, that's all I got for this. Thanks, Light. I appreciate it. You guys are great. What do you get? What are you saying here, Oscar? We should have a naming convention for AppSheet things. Oh, you mean like I do? Like I got a whole bunch already. And remember what I called dashboards with slices dynamic when you called it enhanced. Yeah, dynamic dashboards. I heard that too. Like I think AppSheet training calls their thing. I think they call them dynamic dashboards. I kind of like that too. Had I heard that first, I probably would have used that. But I've already done a bunch of stuff with enhanced, so it's like, kind of like where I'm stuck. You know what I mean? Yeah, naming conventions, bro. They help so much. Is there any course you conduct which I could learn in a structure and in depth? No, I don't have any official courses. They're Light. If you are interested, this is for anybody. I do have a open calendar on Calendly. I'll drop a link into the thing. If you want to schedule a time with me, you can drop in there and like whenever it works for you, just hop in and you can schedule an hour with me. There you go. I just dropped it into the thing. Ultra dashboard. I love it. Yeah, no, if you're looking for any one-on-one help, if you have any burning questions, if you just want to get, my eyeballs on your project to see, are you moving in the right direction? There's a link in the chat there. Hop in, schedule a time. You can show me what you're working on, and we can go from there. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. You guys are great. You are the superstars of everything that I got going on. If it wasn't for you people, I wouldn't be doing this. So, thank you very much. All right, y'all. Have a good weekend. See ya.